Okay, it is Wednesday, July 29th, 2026, and today's episode was assembled by a stack of bots that absolutely swear they didn't touch the timeline. If you hear a weird cut, no you didn't. I'm Hunter.
And I'm Riley, and yes, we are once again letting the machines cook. Sometimes they cook, sometimes they set the kitchen on fire. But it's fine, it's fine.
Blue Lightning Daily. Let's get into it. The big story today is Hailuo 3 rolling out in early access. MiniMax is basically jumping into the make it move cage match right as VideoGen is turning into peak streaming wars.
It's so crowded right now. Like Runway, Kling, Pika, plus a million my cousin made a model in a Discord tools, and then Hailuo 3 shows up like, hey besties, I brought 2K and longer clips.
Allegedly. Early testers are showing duration controls in that 5 to 15 second range, and menus that look like they can kick out 2K. But MiniMax has not dropped the clean, producer-friendly spec sheet yet.
Which is so chaotic. Like, you want creators to trust you with client work, and your specs are just vibes and screenshots on X?
Exactly. And that's actually the unsexy feature that decides who wins creators' hearts, not the cinematic demo. It's stability, queue times, predictable cost, and, honestly, API sanity.
Wait, hold up. You're telling me the killer feature is does it behave like an adult software product?
I hate that you're right, but yeah. Because when you're making content at speed, the thing that kills you is uncertainty. If I can't predict when it'll render, what it'll cost, and whether I can reproduce a look tomorrow, I can't build it into a workflow.
Okay, but the early chatter is kind of spicy. People are doing that classic ritual, same prompt across models, side by sides, and then the comments are like, wait, that actually held the face? Which is basically the highest compliment in AI video?
That line is so real. Identity hold is the tax. And testers are also saying prompt adherence is tighter, like multi-constraint prompts, subject, action, environment, camera direction. The model is apparently picking up more of the whole sentence instead of cherry-picking one phrase and freelancing the rest.
The helpful but wrong behavior, but for video. Like, you ask for a close-up handheld shot in a rainy alley at night, and the model is like, I heard rain, here's a beach.
Exactly. And if Hailuo 3 is actually improving there, that's a big deal for creators because it reduces wasted generations. Fewer rerolls, less credit burn, less emotional damage.
Emotional damage is a line item in my budget, thank you. But Hunter, real talk. What's your trust checklist before you let a new video model anywhere near a deadline?
I've got a few non-negotiables. First, can I get consistent results with a prompt structure I already use, or do I have to learn a whole new dialect? Second, temporal stability. If motion jitters, I don't care how pretty one frame is. Third, identity across edits. If I do image to video, then try a variation, does the person become their evil twin? And last, export behavior. Does it cut cleanly in an edit, or am I hiding artifacts behind motion blur and prayers?
That last one is the real creator brain. Can I slap a caption and sound design on this and ship, or do I have to do witness protection for the hands?
Hands are still the universal comedy language, and I'm not even mad. Hands are just the final boss of generative media.
Okay, but if we're doing predictions, everyone's bragging about faces holding. What's the next face plant? Identity drift across shots, hands doing eldritch things, or physics rage quitting?
Identity drift across shots is still my bet, especially if people try to chain multiple clips into a sequence. A single clip can look amazing. Multi-shot continuity is where models start gaslighting you.
Yeah. And creators are already trying to use these models like mini production studios, like give me shot 1, shot 2, shot 3. And the model's like, sure, and then recast the lead actor halfway through.
Which is why I keep saying these are pre-production machines. They compress the sketch phase. They don't replace your editor, your finishing, your taste. But they can get you to a strong animatic or a hook concept fast.
And that matters for marketers. If you're running performance creative, you don't need one perfect ad. You need a pile of directions, 10 angles, pick the winners, then polish the survivors.
Right. Hailuo has historically leaned stylized and social ready, which is actually a feature. Not everything needs to be cinematic. Sometimes you need bold reads for reels, shorts, ads that stop the scroll.
Also, let's be honest, a lot of brands are basically doing found footage but make it expensive. So stylized motion that feels intentional, that's a lane.
Now, the rollout reality. This is not a big synchronized launch, it's waves. The first wave is the people who benchmark models like it's the Olympics.
The spreadsheet gremlins, I love them. They're doing public service.
And they surface constraints fast. Where it breaks, what prompting patterns work, how often the model drifts, whether text renders like alien runes.
Text in video is still illegal, like it's against the laws of the universe.
And because we're in this crowded field era, the bigger signal is tool loyalty is dead. You use the best model for the job. One for cinematic polish, one for stylized speed, one for character stability. But that can become a Franken pipeline from hell if you don't manage it.
Yes, because then you're exporting, upscaling, retiming, matching grain, fixing color, and suddenly you're like, congrats, you invented a full post house inside a Google Drive.
So here's the sane approach. Decide your hero model for the project based on what you need most. If the goal is fast ideation and lots of options, Hailuo 3 might be that tab. If you need multi-shot storyboarding and polish, you might still lean Kling or Runway. Then keep one specialist tool for cleanup, upscaling, frame interpolation, maybe a separate tool for face consistency if you're doing character work.
And keep your editor as the glue, like Premiere, Resolve, Final Cut, whatever your home base is. The editor is where you make AI footage look intentional instead of like it wandered in from another dimension.
Also, one very practical thing. Teams that need API model IDs, endpoints, and predictable pricing might have to wait. MiniMax's docs have historically listed earlier Hailuo families, and right now people are still hunting for the official "Here's Hailuo 3" in the API clarity.
That's a big deal for media ops teams. Solo creators can vibe it out. But if you're an agency with repeatable workflows, you can't build on someone on X said it's 2K.
Totally. Okay, quick ecosystem check, because the whole creator stack is shifting this week. Adobe is leaning harder into the multi-model reality. Firefly Boards added Google's Gemini Omni Flash as a partner model, basically turning Adobe into a model switchboard for ideation.
Which is kind of the meta trend. The interface becomes the product, not the model. Like, just give me a dropdown and let me compare outputs without doing the export-import shuffle.
And Meta dropped Muse image with agentic editing vibes and content seal, that invisible provenance watermark plus detection. That matters because creators are about to live in a world where synthetic assets need receipts.
Yeah, especially for brands. Did we make this? Did someone else make this? Is this going to get us dragged? Provenance is not sexy until it's your job on the line.
And Google rebranded Notebook LM as Gemini Notebook, adding in-notebook code execution and collections. That's a workflow upgrade for creators who do research and performance reporting and need outputs that are grounded and auditable.
Which is also the vibe of the Nvidia Open Secure AI Alliance. Like, we're all building agents and automations, and now everyone's realizing, oh, maybe we need security frameworks so our tools don't go feral.
Exactly. The industry is maturing around the boring stuff: auditing, permissions, supply chain integrity, which again is what decides whether tools actually get used in production.
Okay, bringing it back to Hailuo 3. If you're a creator listening right now, what's the move?
If you have access, treat it like a sketch accelerator. Test it with your real prompts, not your demo prompt, your actual client brief prompts. Stress test faces, hands, fast action camera moves, and see if it cuts into your edit without you doing damage control.
And if you don't have access yet, don't spiral. The category is crowded for a reason. The best play is building a flexible workflow where swapping models doesn't break your whole pipeline.
Tool loyalty is cute. Output loyalty pays rent.
Facts. All right, y'all, that's today's Blue Lightning Daily, fully bot built, lightly supervised, and somehow still on schedule.
Thanks for hanging with us. Subscribe if you want more no-hype AI news for creators.
And go hit bluelightningtv.com for updates, tests, and the stuff we can't stop talking about.
And if your AI video suddenly grows an extra finger, just remember, it's not a bug. It's the model celebrating magic.
Hunter, stop. Catch you next time.